All right, Rob Scott, Chief Innovator of Monjour. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much for joining. I'm very much looking forward to this conversation. And I think at the crux of it, we're really talking about the advancements in legal tech with AI, with a deeper dive into contract as a service legal solutions that I think you are working on right now, specifically designed for IT managed services and service providers. So, Rob, if you would be so kind, just give us a general idea of a little bit about your background and then what led you to founding the organization or to being innovator at the organization.
My background is in law. I graduated law school in 1996, and I began practicing at a law firm, Scott and Scott, which was originally a partnership between me and my brother Jonathan. And our focus has been for over 25 years on computer law, believe it or not. And so
Fascinating.
our practice areas were in IT transactions, software licensing transactions and disputes, and network security and data privacy. And we have recently added a practice in artificial intelligence, but uh, completely focused on computer law issues. And in that capacity, we began representing IT managed services firms in the early 2000s, wound up having literally hundreds of those firms come to us for help developing their customer contracts that they go to market with. And we realized in 2020 that we needed a platform that would enable us to manage those agreements for those customers and keep them updated. And so the idea for the Monjour platform uh, arose, and in 2022, we launched the platform, which is a cloud-based legal service. We start with industry-leading templates. We customize them for each one of our clients during a setup period, and then we host them, keep them updated dynamically through the cloud, and deliver them into our clients' existing sales processes, tools, and websites to enable an online collapsing of the sales and contracting processes into one step.
Really interesting. So, if there are changes to the law, how does that affect the contracts?
Well, one area that we see a lot of changes in the law is in the area of data privacy regulation. In the last 6 or 7 months, we've seen Colorado, Virginia, and Connecticut all pass data privacy laws modeled after California's CCPA, which itself is modeled after the EU's GDPR. And so many times now, we're looking at changes in the law, particularly data privacy laws, driving the need for updating the customer contracts because these laws require the service provider and the customer that's under the regulation to enter into data processing agreements that are in compliance with those laws. So each of them require a specific writing to be part of the customer contracts. And we actually manage that for our clients and keep them updated dynamically. So as laws come into effect, their agreements get dynamically updated through the cloud.
Really interesting. Are we at a point, or is it too early where AI could figure out whether or not there's been substantive changes to laws, and then make the proper appending of that particular document to adjust for that?
I think the technology is certainly available. We're not using it in precisely that way today. So we use AI from LexisNexis, which is our legal research provider, to monitor the laws. And so that is existing and currently commercialized through them. And so we're using their legal research tools to monitor the privacy regulations. And then on the other side of it, AI could be used to analyze agreements. And so we're doing some of that at Monjour as well. So we're not actually doing it in the way that you sort of put together, but there are elements of AI already in play in both the legal research portion and in the manner in which we triage the documents.
No, and that makes total sense. I mean, it's still semi-early days with some of these types of things,
Mhm.
especially as you work towards building out workflows, or so to speak.
Mhm.
So, is it like leveraging APIs from LexisNexis, or people monitoring these types of things and then appending where necessary?
Yeah, so the way you should think about it is a lawyer on the Monjour team is got a subscription to a legal service, research service like LexisNexis, which uses AI to power the research. And that software enables you to configure alerts. And so, we have lawyers that are responsible for monitoring the privacy regulations that are emerging. And then those same lawyers are in part responsible for drafting the data processing terms that are required by those regulations, which become the updates to our clients' data processing agreements under our service.
I got you. That makes a lot of sense. No, thank you for going through that. What would be a good use case for this? What would be something you've seen in the past that people have found to be very helpful within their workflows?
Well, what we see is that anytime the clients have a CRM or a quoting tool that they're using, but it doesn't also incorporate by reference the online terms and conditions that will govern the quote or proposal, there's an opportunity to bring the Monjour platform into that sales process, regardless of what the tools are, so that at the time that that agreement is entered into, whether it's a quote from a CRM, a proposal from a quoting tool, our solution integrates directly into our client's existing sales tools. And the goal is when the customer hits I accept or I agree on an online quote or an e-commerce site, that all of the terms and conditions that are applicable to the service are entered into at the same time, but are presented to the customer on smart hyperlinks that actually live in the Monjour cloud.
All right. No, that's very helpful to understand that. So, looking into your, I guess, crystal ball, where do you see things going? Whether it's with your company, with the company itself, or beyond? What are the next steps that you think organizations are going to take within the legal tech space to advance the sort of flow for both your customers, their clients, things of that nature?
Well, I think AI will infiltrate all aspects of legal practice, including client development, client intake, client support, deliverable creation, preparation for court. And so, a lot of people are talking about AI taking over for lawyers. That's not imminent, but in the near term, lawyers that use AI will quickly replace those that don't.
So I
Um,
love that you sort of entertain that, and I think you're absolutely right about it. But I think the part that I grapple with is where, how much longer will this be where you then see significant numbers of roles being um, pulled back on or affected by some of the advancements that we're starting to see within technology, specifically AI. Um, do you do you have any perspective on that? Are we talking 5 years where you think there's going to be a holistic change to the bounty, the amount of work that people have available that they need to work on? Or are we talking 10 years out where things are going to be significantly different?
I'm old enough to have lived through the transition from the typewriter to the word processor and to the fax machine and then emails.
Yes.
And all of those things sort of happen relatively slowly. I remember a time where people were saying nobody would ever put their credit cards on the internet to buy anything. And I remember when everyone said the cloud was a buzzword that will never have any traction in the enterprise. And so, at 53, I've lived through some of these, transformative technologies, and I've never seen one that has the impact to affect not only law but many different areas as generative AI. There's a reason that OpenAI had 200 million downloads in a very short period of time. It's a very transformational technology. In terms of the timing, I think it will happen quicker than you think. And the reason for that is if you just think of the idea that AI will be everywhere and nowhere, once all the major tool sets have it incorporated, which is soon, from Microsoft Copilot to, we already have it in the legal research realm. We already have AI in the e-discovery realm. So I think, the tendency, I think, with AI will be for it to move quickly and make changes quickly. So far, it's done nothing but add to the work of lawyers with major cases, major copyright cases involving major companies. And so I would say right now in the aggregate, AI is creating jobs for lawyers. I do also think that it suggests that young lawyers are going to be in a bit of a predicament. Lawyers like me who know when the AI gets it right or wrong are okay. I'm going to be fine, right? But a lawyer who doesn't know whether the AI is right or wrong is in trouble because there's a limit to what they're going to be capable of contributing. And I'm not going to need them for writing drafts of anything. I'll use the AI for that. So, gone are the days where you're going to have a bunch of associates writing documents for partners to review. I think more and more partners will be taking the AI document review and using it from there. And the role of associates is going to be more of training and programming the AIs. And so if I'm a young lawyer, I'm focusing on prompt engineering and important things like mapping of terms and understanding how to make databases repositories so that the AI can learn the documents and keep them in memory. So there's a lot of things that I think the lawyer of the future will need to be adept at, and it's not just substantive legal. In the same way that when I was coming up, I need to know about word processing because law firms no longer were having three secretaries to take care of typing everything. In the modern world, the new lawyers are going to have to understand how to leverage AI tools to create more efficiency, to do more work and more output and serve more clients with greater speed and lower error rate.
No, I
And
think you're right on about all of that, and I appreciate your perspective. It makes a lot of sense. What do you tell, I don't know, a niece or nephew or son or daughter that you may have? Like, what do you say, like, in terms of growing up? What do they need to focus in on going into college, going into grad school, whatever the case is? Does it make sense still to go into the legal field?
oh, of course. I think, what do they say that the law is the second oldest profession? I don't think it's going anywhere. And let me tell you why. You could get an AI to pass any bar exam anywhere in the world, but not one AI could get a license to practice law. So you still need lawyers in the loop. No matter what the technology is, it will always be a lawyer in the loop technology. And so now is an exciting time to go to law school. You're in a transformational period where there's so much opportunity and the playing field will be leveled for you in ways that are unique. And so I would say if law is your passion and you're going into it for the right reasons, by all means, now is as good a time as any. And there will always be opportunities for lawyers to um, excel in any context, regardless of the technology. And the reason is licensing. We're protected by licensing. Nobody can practice law but a lawyer. Only a human can get a license.
So
So,
yeah, please go ahead.
so what I say is the key to evolving legal services is put the best technology in the hands of the most experienced lawyers. That's what the Monjour platform is designed to do. It's not like other legal tech that's an alternative to lawyers. Our approach to technology is to empower the most successful lawyers to serve more people at a lower price.
No, that's very well said. All right, one last question, and if there's anything else that you'd like to add about the organization, please let me know. So just continuing down that path, but in 10 to 15 to 20 years, do you foresee a time where code becomes law? And then you have these algorithms that are deciphering among what someone's presenting, either via pictures or video or text or how they present themselves to a particular, let's say, algorithm. Um, and the code, being the law, is then balanced against what was said. And so you have this back and forth between the code as law and sort of a jury of the computer world in the cloud.
No,
No. Okay.
I don't see that happening at all. I do, however, envision, for example, courts using AI tools to digest and summarize submissions from parties to make it easier for law clerks and judges to efficiently give opinions and decide cases. So I definitely can envision that. I can envision situations where AI is writing a lot of the draft opinions of judges. I can even see AI having a critical function in how cases are tried and analyzed. But I don't envision this sort of real-time application of the code to the facts that you described. That sounds like science fiction to me, and not anything that I could actually contemplate taking place given the current structure of the court systems.
And I totally agree with you. And I think it's just fun to think about because what you just outlined in the last 30 seconds, can you imagine someone saying that 20 years ago? They would be like, no, no way, it's impossible. So I think
Mhm.
it's a stepping stone, or it's almost like this ladder going in a direction. Where's that end? What are
Mhm.
we eventually going to see in 20 or 30 years for those younger students that are thinking about law school now or going into practice as a first year, whatever
Mhm.
the case is? Um, I try to think about them and what they're working on in context for what's happening now and what potentially could happen. So just interesting to think about. All right. Any last thoughts that you had about the organization?
Well, I just want to share that solutions like Monjour that are hybrid solutions, mixing, for example, a software as a service delivery mechanism with a traditional legal offering such as contract preparation. I think you're going to start to see more and more of that emerging as law firms start to realize that monthly recurring revenue models are very desirable and that they can unlock the intellectual property that's contained in their document templates that they currently give away to their clients for free. Solutions like Monjour are going to be more widespread in the legal community. And I think SaaS-based legal services are going to be one of the next big trends in legal tech.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, streamlining the contracts through machine learning is going to be huge. Of course, enhancing the contract analysis compliance is continuing to grow. So this has been great to hear about. Thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate your
Yeah,
time today.
thank you very much. I look forward to visiting with you again soon.
All right, sounds good.
Take care. Bye bye.